The story begins with King Kong, who lives in the Hollow Earth. This is a very deep, ancient subterranean ecosystem inside the planet, where creatures evolve to titan size due to unique gravity and constant radioactive energy. Kong is being chased by some large wartdog monsters. Kong runs towards a cliff's edge where he has prepared a trap for the beasts. As the wartdogs advance, they fall into the trap. Kong throws a tree trunk, which activates a second trap, and stones start falling on the enemies. The wartdogs still don't give up, so Kong grabs one of them and tears it in two. He roars and its blood falls on him to prove that he is the boss of this area. In fear, the remaining wartdogs run away. After that, Kong goes to a waterfall to clean himself and starts eating his killed enemy. While eating, he growls in pain, realizing that he has an infection in his tooth. Suddenly, he hears a voice from afar, and taking advantage of his voice, a large reptile steals his meat. Kong doesn't do anything to it and then lets it go. He is more interested in that voice. He follows the noise, but he doesn't find anyone like himself, just a small, random animal. Meanwhile, on the surface, Dr. Eileen Andrews works for the base, the organization that monitors global threats from titans. She has a special system for tracking titans. Eileen is worried about Kong because he is from a social species and shouldn't be alone. And whenever a bad monster tries to destroy a city, the legendary Godzilla comes out of his home in the ocean and keeps humanity safe. In Rome, a giant spider monster starts attacking the streets. Godzilla immediately arrives and attacks it, destroying some buildings in the process. After throwing the spider around, Godzilla explodes it with his atomic energy. He celebrates his victory with a roar and goes to rest inside the Colosseum. At the Monarch outpost in Hollow Earth, researchers detect heavy energy readings from the sinkhole where Kong trapped the wartdog. Eileen is immediately alerted and flies to the Hollow Earth access point in Barbados, where Director Hampton shows her very high spikes in the sensor array. Meanwhile, at Monarch Base Academy, Eileen's adopted daughter Gia starts to feel dizzy in class. She closes her eyes and her hands start moving on their own, and snow starts falling inside the room. Gia suddenly has a vision related to the Titans, and the teacher wakes her up. Gia has unintentionally made drawings on her schoolwork and desk. After class, Gia has to clean her desk, and the teacher tells Eileen that Gia is having trouble adjusting. After class, Eileen tries to talk to Gia. Gia says she's worried about Kong and doesn't think she belongs on the surface. Gia is the last member of the Iwi tribe of Skull Island, which was Kong's original home. Later at home, Eileen realizes that Gia's drawings match the spikes of a sensor array. At the same time in Hollow Earth, an unknown titan destroys an outpost. This causes Gia to wake up from a nightmare, and Eileen comes to Gia and promises that everything is okay. The next morning, Eileen goes to meet Bernie, a conspiracy podcaster who previously helped her with the Titans. Bernie agrees to team up again, but only on the condition that he gets to visit the Hollow Earth. At that moment, Eileen receives another emergency alert on her phone, discovering that Godzilla has reawakened. He immediately leaves Rome and sets out to find the source, destroying more buildings along the way. At the same time, an access point opens at the base, but it's just Kong, who's asking for help with his tooth. Just then, Trapper flies in on his special aircraft and removes his bad tooth, replacing it with a very strong metallic teeth. Bernie tells Eileen that he has realized that each spike matches the appearance of a titan on the surface. His analysis concludes that this energy is a distress call from the Hollow Earth. Hampton gives permission for a team to go there, so pilot Mikkel takes Eileen, Bernie, Trapper, and Gia in his advanced aircraft, and they jump into the Hollow Earth access point after Kong. The trip is full of crazy lights and shaking, making Bernie feel like he is high, but it is quite safe and soon they reach the Hollow Earth. Some flying creatures fly near them, so Trapper explains that they are harmless, and he activates the camouflage in the ship so that they can blend in. Meanwhile, a Monarch team reaches France, where a nuclear power plant is on fire. Soldiers find giant paw prints nearby, and discover that Godzilla is charging himself there by absorbing all the radiation. As his body starts to glow, Monarch jets try to stop him, but Godzilla starts roaring at them and knocks them down by emitting blue energy. Hampton informs Eileen that Godzilla is clearly preparing for something, but the connection is soon lost due to the energy of the Hollow Earth. Eileen's team reaches the Monarch outpost and is saddened to see all the scientists dead and the building completely destroyed. There is a bloody handprint on the stone walls that is not Kong's, and Trapper says that this is a declaration of war. They find an unbroken security camera and hope to get answers from it. Elsewhere, Kong takes his axe and jumps into the sinkhole that he made the previous day. He finds a lot of glowing crystals, but there are also bones of creatures like him there. Hearing some noise from afar, he crosses a waterfall and discovers an uncharted subterranean realm. A shadow begins to move towards him and he encounters a young primate, Suko. Kong calmly tries to make friends with him, but Suko bites his hand. Just then, some apes arrive to attack Kong. They fight Kong and immediately snatch his axe, then attack him with the same axe, but Kong is still stronger and easily pushes them away. When Suko jumps on Kong's face, he grabs him and uses him like a club to beat the other apes. Then when an ape is about to fall off a cliff, Kong grabs him and pulls him up. but the ape tries to stab Kong with a bone knife, so Kong kicks him off the cliff with a drop kick. The last ape tries to run away in fear, and Kong throws a stone at his head before he can leave. After that, Kong roars at Suko and asks where the blade came from, so Suko becomes his guide. Eventually, Suko leads Kong to a watering hole where he drinks and Suko behaves suspiciously. Suddenly, a gigantic serpent monster emerges from the water and attacks Kong, trapping him with its long body and beginning to squeeze. Suko immediately runs away, but suddenly the axe blocks his path. It turns out that Kong easily cut off the monster's head. Then he takes a break and eats the serpent, and also shares it with Suko. Suko is surprised that despite leading them to a trap, he is being fed. In the aircraft, Eileen accesses security footage and discovers that an ape destroyed the outpost. Suddenly, due to some unknown energy, their ship starts to fall, but somehow Mikko controls the ship in time. Gia can sense where the unknown energy came from. Then they land the ship and follow its directions, passing through the jungle. The trapper smells something strange and says that they should turn back, but Mikko ignores him and announces that he is in charge. At that moment, a tree creature eats Mikko completely, and the group runs away from there. Eileen tries to call for help, but her device is not working. After wandering for a while, Gia finds some ancient ruins that seem to belong to the Iwi tribe. In the back is a large structure decorated with Mothra, the queen of the monsters. Suddenly, a glowing bug sits on a triangle on the wall, so Gia presses it and water comes out. They follow the water from the structure and find an organic protective veil. When the trapper touches it, it starts to glow, and Gia opens it, revealing a subterranean realm. In Spain, people flee in panic as a charged-up Godzilla crosses the city and returns to the ocean. A Monarch submarine tracks its trajectory and deduces that it is heading towards the Arctic Ocean, where a powerful titan named Tiamat resides. Researchers determine that if Godzilla kills Tiamat, it will become supercharged. Some hours later, the Monarch submarine reaches Tiamat's domain and notices that the titan's energy is distorting their radar. Suddenly, a light illuminates the area. It is Godzilla's atomic breath, which is causing serious damage to the submarine while destroying a layer of ice to try to awaken the other titan. Tiamat quickly emerges, glowing magenta, and uses its body to trap Godzilla. Godzilla, in turn, bites off a chunk of its flesh. Tiamat immediately bites back, and Godzilla begins to charge himself by absorbing its energy, releasing an atomic energy that rises above the ocean's surface. Godzilla kills Tiamat and enters its lair, where it rests. Back on Eileen's team's side, they hear a voice and are suddenly surrounded by warriors wielding spears, but they recognize Gia and take the group with them. They reach a glowing cave and realize that this is the entire Iwi civilization, who communicate with each other through telepathy. On the ceiling, they notice different vortex portals, which could potentially take them all over Earth. The tribe's leader touches Gia's hand, and they both share memories. The leader shows Gia the tribe's life, and in return, Gia shows her life on the surface. The leader is happy and orders her guards to let the rest of the team go. The group is taken to a crystal formation, and Eileen realizes that the distress signal came from here. They sent it from this large crystal to warn Godzilla about the impending danger. Deeper inside the Iwi temple, special water is poured that illuminates the place, and Iwi history is revealed on the walls, which Eileen translates. Long ago, the great apes were the protectors of humanity, but a ruthless leader named Scar King tried to attack the surface world with an army of apes in a war against Godzilla and his species. Godzilla intervened and trapped Scar King and his army in the hollow earth so they couldn't attack again. But this threat will return, and Godzilla is now charging up for it. Only a direct descendant of the Iwi will be able to reawaken Queen Mothra so that peace can return. Meanwhile, Kong follows Suko across a bridge made of bones and enters a very hot area, where he is shocked to discover that other great apes are being kept as slaves and forced into hard labor. When a guard punishes a worker, Kong comes to help and earns the guard's anger. Kong simply punches the ape down and demands to see the monster in charge. At that moment, Scar King comes out and sees Kong's metal tooth, so all the apes laugh at him. Then Scar King tries to punish Suko for bringing Kong, but the former worker tries to save him. Scar King kicks that ape into a lava pit, and Kong roars in complaint. A fight begins in which Kong uses his axe while Scar King uses a whip made from the spine of another titan. This weapon is about to strangle Kong, but he grabs Scar King and throws him. Refusing to admit defeat, Scar King uses the glowing crystal at the end of his whip and reveals Shimo, the titan who brought the Ice Age. The whip crystal causes Shimo a lot of pain, so he has to obey Scar King. It breathes an ice beam towards Kong, which Kong tries to deflect with his axe. But the blast is so powerful that it wraps Kong's arm in ice, giving him frostbite. Kong is too weak to fight, so Suko calls out to him and shows him the way out of the cave. Evading another ice beam, Kong manages to escape while the other apes steal his axe. They soon begin to chase Kong. Kong runs fast and releases trap after trap, causing many enemies to fall. Finally, he is cornered against a rock wall and the apes avoid another trap trigger, but rocks still fall and crush them. Turns out that Suko activated the trap. Kong is still in pain, so Suko helps him move and they set out together to meet the humans. They don't realize that one ape has survived and is following them. Connecting with the Iwi teens, Gia finally feels like she belongs. Bernie records everything, amazed by the Iwi's way of building their civilization using crystals. Suddenly, a horn alarm sounds and the Iwi rush to open the veil, where they find Kong with his wounded arm. The enemy ape watches all this and immediately goes to report to his boss. Scar King gathers an army and leads them riding on Shimo, ready to begin the invasion, while Suko watches them from afar. In the Arctic, Godzilla awakens and breaks the ice, showing off his new magenta glow. Back on Kong, he has become very weak and falls to the ground. Gia tells him that they will take care of him. Trapper scans his injury and announces that he has been working on a device called Operation Powerhouse. He designed it to boost Kong if another powerful Titan arrives. He goes to the destroyed outpost and brings back many pieces, revealing a giant glove which he puts on Kong's injured arm. It takes Kong some time to get used to it, but soon he regains mobility and happily punches the ground. At the same time, Suko comes and warns them about Scar King's plans, so Kong immediately jumps into a vortex portal and appears in the middle of Egypt, damaging the pyramids and knocking people down. In Gibraltar, Godzilla hears Kong's roar and jumps into the sea to find him. At the same time, in Hollow Earth, the Iwi prepare Gia and she goes to a large crystal, using her hand to activate gold energy. This awakens Mothra, who thanks Gia and then flies towards the surface. Then the Iwi start evacuating the cave. After destroying bridges with his swimming, Godzilla reaches Egypt, where Kong tries to explain the situation to him. But Godzilla thinks that Kong wants to attack humanity and pushes him against the pyramids. A fight starts and Kong manages to land some good punches thanks to his mechanic arm. Then he grabs Godzilla's tail and starts dragging him towards the portal, but Godzilla glows and releases his atomic breath, destroying the pyramids. He knocks Kong down and recharges, but this time Mothra appears and pushes him back. Gia also arrives and, together with Mothra, uses telepathy to finally explain the situation. Godzilla roars and agrees to team up. Eileen's team follows the Iwi to the area under the pyramids, where they pour a red liquid into the water, which causes the crystals to move. They hope this will create a gravity surge that will stop the evil Titans. At the same time, Scar King breaks through the veil and Shimo frees the crystals before they can finish the process. Trapper gets on his aircraft and brings some verticines, which attack the ape army with bioelectricity. As the group escapes in Trapper's ship, Shimo shoots ice again to scare the verticines. Thankfully, Godzilla and Kong appear and jump to meet Scar King and Shimo, just as the crystals release the surge. Due to gravity, the Titans start to float in the air, but this doesn't stop them from attacking each other whenever they get a chance. Trapper's ship is also about to get smacked, but Mothra arrives and protects them in the portals. Some ape soldiers try to join the fight, so Suko also jumps in and throws rocks at them to keep them away. Shimo shoots ice at Godzilla and almost freezes him, but Mothra distracts her, and Godzilla breaks the ice with his magenta charge. Then Mothra grabs Trapper's ship and puts it down while Suko kicks an ape guard to his death. Kong retrieves his axe from the enemy and exchanges blows with Scar King and his whip, but sadly a portal opens and Brazil grass swallows all the Titans, causing Kong to lose his axe again. People on the beach run in panic as the waves freeze and the Titans break out of the ice. Scar King tells Shimo to unleash her ice powers, causing the sky to turn black and the city to begin to freeze. Suddenly, Godzilla shoots an atomic beam at Shimo, and at the same moment, Kong punches Scar King, breaking one of his teeth. The fight continues between the four Titans. They throw each other everywhere and destroy dozens of buildings. Scar King throws a building with his whip, then he and Shimo attack Kong together, forcing him to use the glove to protect himself from the oncoming ice beam. At the same time, Godzilla finishes charging and shoots at Scar King, who dodges the attack and retaliates with his whip. Godzilla grabs it with his mouth and uses it to throw Scar King down, then breaks it, causing the crystal to fall. While Kong is still under Shimo's beam, Godzilla shoots at Scar King again, who jumps to dodge and recover the crystal, but Godzilla shoots it out of his hand. Then Godzilla jumps on Shimo and attacks her while Kong and Scar King start fighting to get to the crystal. Suddenly, Suko appears with the axe and shatters the crystal, causing a shockwave that throws all the Titans back. Shimo quickly recovers and realizes she is no longer under the Scar King's control. When Kong and Godzilla start throwing Scar King around like a tennis ball, Shimo shoots her ice beam and freezes her slaver in return. Now Kong can smash him on the ground into pieces, leading to his death, while Godzilla clears the sky with his breath. After the fight finally ends, Mothra takes Gia back to Hollow Earth, and the girl confirms she wants to stay on the surface with Eileen. Mothra repairs the veil, and an exhausted Godzilla goes back to the Colosseum to rest. Kong and Suko ride Shimo back to the ape tribe, where Kong wins the slaves' gratitude and becomes their new leader. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.